Alright, so I suck at the theme song of Star Wars, but holy shit balls, you guys. Holy shit balls. Holy shit balls, you guys. Holy shit balls. I saw The Force Awakens, and man, is it awesome. I'm sure at this point, if you really care, you've already seen all the reviews that you need to see. You already know all the spoilers and all the great little details that make The Force Awakens the return to form that we've been waiting for oh so long. You look at the disaster that was the prequels, and then JJ delivers this glorious little masterpiece. Ah, there's just so much right about this film. And yes, there are issues that bother me. And I plan on going over both of those a little bit here. I'm not going to make a real long review, except to say up front, I loved it. It was a great movie. I can't wait for episode 8. I am stoked. I can't wait for Rogue One and the Han Solo movie and Boba Fett and all that. Disney's doing a great job so far, and I really hope they keep up the work because obviously it's paying off. And yeah, but that having been said, there are some people, not a whole lot, mind you, but some people who take umbrance with like generic stealing and reimagining of A New Hope, which is true, but insofar only that it's an action adventure like the first movie was. A New Hope was like we're introduced to this mythology, these new characters, this setting, this idea, this fantasy set in space. And so we just get a taste of it and how it works and why it works and what we had to look forward to. So there wasn't a whole lot explained in A New Hope. We just kind of got these characters who went on this adventure, and then crazy stuff happened. You know, it was something that was endearing because it did so much so well. It didn't have to explain anything, and that's what was great about it. And The Force Awakens has a similar process that we get introduced to these new characters who look at the universe and this galaxy as if it's just, you know, this grand mythology. You know, that all those things, the Force, the Jedi, the Sith, they're all just myth to these characters. And then they find out it's all real. And they don't even have to show Jedi. They don't even have to show Sith. Well, with the exception of one who's not really a Sith per se, but one of the Knights of Ren. Whatever that's going to be. That's going to be something interesting to find out. But it is such a well-developed premise. And I loved the character interactions between the old and the new guard. The old Vanguard meets the new Vanguard, and there's this weight. These characters are like almost like hero worship when they meet them and find them. Oh my God, it's you, and you're this great thing. Before it really dawns on them that the torch is being passed to them, that they're the ones that's gonna have to carry the story forward. And it's just it man, it just works out so well. When there's one scene in particular I really thought kind of epitomized that idea, and it's where BB-8 meets R2-D2, and R2-D2, the way they filmed it, looks like this huge, larger than life entity compared to BB-8, and it's just like, and you can see that youthful exuberance versus this, aged veteran who at one point himself was that youthful exuberance. And it's sad, but also amazing how that essence is captured. I love it. Um, I won't spoil anything here. There's certainly some things that go down, and probably at this point you've already seen all of it. So you would already be familiar with whatever the spoilers are, but I'm not going to spoil it anyway, regardless. But I'll say this: that scene, the scene that will have fanboys talking for years, I have to say, was well developed. It was a beautiful scene. It made a lot of sense, and I can't imagine it having gone any other way. It had to be that way, and I'm not upset by it. I'm impressed, and I'm like, yes, this is how you handle it. This is what needs to happen for the story to continue. And it was emotional, and it was just something that you could see coming without a doubt. But it doesn't diminish the impact of it, which is great. That makes it stand out a lot. Now, there are some people who are talking about, oh, well, this is a J.J. Abrams film, so the beginning is Star Wars, the end is Star Wars, but then that middle section is all J.J. I don't have any idea what the fuck they're talking about when people say shit like that. I like J.J. Abrams. I liked Star Trek. I love the Star Trek Into Darkness. I don't know why so many people had issues with it, aside from the fact that it was a remake of Star Trek 2. And really, does it matter? I mean, sure, it's a little bit of a cop-out, but does it really matter? Can't you just enjoy the movie? Now, if a movie really sucks, like, say, I don't know, The Last Airbender, and it's just because it's poor execution and not because it's entertaining in the least, well, that's a different scenario altogether. But when a movie is, like, really just entertaining and you're just fussing about, minute little details like that, you know, it just strikes me as petulant. And I like JJ as an ad director. They have an idea of where the new Star Wars trilogy is going, and how everything's going to develop, and it's good. It works out well. Now, what are the bad things that I didn't like? Well, they're not really so much bad things. It's just kind of minor annoyances. I found a lot of it very convenient. Of course, this is true of New Hope too, and true of pretty much all the Star Wars movies. That there's always these conveniences. Always these times where the heroes get saved by basically a deus ex machina, and it's not really surprising. Um, it happens, and it's kind of to really be expected. They do rehash a lot of the old Star Wars stuff. Certainly, Star Killer bases, serious rehashing of the Death Star, but then when you look at what they're doing, they're basically saying, here's the Star Wars movies that you wanted in the prequels but didn't get. Here's the character development of this villain and that you wanted to see in Vader but you didn't get. Here are these characters that are handing off the torch so that they can, get a new generation, the next generation, their own special, storyline. This is just basically a movie that sets the stage. It reintroduces us to what Star Wars is all about. It's like a recap, but also telling a whole new story at the same time. And I think that is something to laud. No matter how much those conveniences are annoying, no matter how simple the finale is and how easy it comes about. And yeah, it doesn't really give you the emotional impact the way that the New Hope did when it comes to the Death Star, but in quite the same way. But it seemed like it's just like, well, that's because this base isn't what's important. What happens with this is not the crucial thing. It's there to say, hey, you get this, empire that won't give up. The fight is still going, and they have all the heroes have to stop them from trying to reconquer the galaxy as they did before, and whatever the contrivances are that we are introduced to this new storyline is, it's tolerable. I thought Harrison Ford did a wonderful job acting as Han Solo. He seemed to really enjoy it, and yeah, he really seemed to enjoy it. A lot more so than, coming back as Indiana Jones. And I have my theory as to why that is. Um, but he seemed to enjoy it a lot more than, say, Carrie Fisher or Mark Hamill. I will say one annoyance I did have was C-3PO was about useless in this movie. I'm not entirely certain he was there. He's just like a walk on real high, what's going on, and then leaves. That's not really so much a spoiler as it is a warning. He doesn't do anything. If you haven't seen it, don't be expecting too much out of him. Um, if you have seen it, then you know exactly what I'm talking about, and it's not really a surprise. I don't really have anything else to go over with The Force Awakens. I thought it was phenomenal. One other minor nuance. One other minor annoyance was the music was phenomenal, but this time around, it didn't seem that John Williams really made any themes for any of the characters. It was just, redeveloped music from the older movies, just to have a score. And I feel that kind of is a slight disservice to the wonderful movie that they made, the wonderful mythos, all the great things that happen in it. Like there's they missed an extraordinary opportunity with just um, the setup scene in the beginning with this shadowed Star Destroyer coming into view, and it's just that scene. I knew it was going to be a great movie from the very first second I saw that scene, because it was nicely done. It was very artistic. It's very prescient to the story, and I liked it. But it could have benefited from more thematic music. It just, as it stands, the music's good, but it isn't as memorable as the original trilogy music, or even the prequel music, for whatever you can take out of that. It didn't live up to the strength of the old movies, which is kind of sad. But it's still really good music. But even so, it doesn't detract from the movie. You can still get so far into the movie. And yeah, I can see how some reviewers feel that it's just an okay movie, and that's fine. I get it. I mean, it doesn't strive to be anything more than what it is. The same could be said for all the Star Wars movies, and they're not exactly these grand masterpieces that so many people want to make them out to be. Now, I love Star Wars. Don't get me wrong. But I'm not going to sit here and say it's like the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's definitely a very well thought out series with, well, most of it. Not necessarily the prequels. They had good ideas, but not very good execution. But I digress. Let me just really finish this off and just say that what you really want to do is go out and check out the movie for yourself. If you're a Star Wars fan, you're going to love it. It doesn't matter what age you are, you're going to love it. If you're not really into Star Wars, I can tell you my wife isn't really into Star Wars, and she loved The Force Awakens. So there's something there as well for the people who aren't really big on the old Star Wars stories. And you don't really need to have seen the other movies to really understand what's going on. I mean, it helps to get backstories to who these characters are and such like that, but it's not like a prerequisite. You just enjoy it, and that's what's phenomenal about it. So I highly recommend seeing the movie, and if you haven't already, and if you have seen it, see it again, because 8's coming out in a couple years, and it's going to be a phenomenal movie as well, and I can't wait. So thanks for listening and watching this silly little video, and I hope that you will stay tuned for more of my vlogs and my gaming videos and everything, and all my animations that are yet to come. They are coming, don't worry. So I'll catch you on the flip side. Thanks a lot, and peace.